Tac, tac, tac. Ah bah, tu vas pouvoir les ressortir dans Higurashi. Parce que je pense que... Ouais. Tu pourras sortir le 5ème, enfin. Allez. On lance. Non, je dis ça pour rigoler. J'en ai aucune idée si tu pourras le sortir ou pas. Je me souviens plus. Je ne crois pas. Merci Nibo. Chapter 5. A new element. Did you check the bathroom amenities? Yep, went down the list. Did you make sure they were facing the right way when you set them down? Yes, of course. Everything's as it says. Thanks. Genji-sama, the guest rooms are ready now. Good work. Make sure you check over everything with your own eyes, Shannon. Also, Madame has ordered us to change the tablecloths in the dining hall again. My, why again when we all worked so hard to change it earlier today? The color of that tablecloth simply does not fit. Once I saw it against the backdrop of the room, I could see that it matched terribly. We should use a different tablecloth. Oh, and did you make sure to clean the chandelier in the parlor? I don't want Eva-san looking up and saying, "Oh, is that dust? And even a spiderweb? Again?" Do not worry. It has already been carefully cleaned and checked. Ouais, bon, elle, si c'est une maniaque du ménage, c'est juste qu'elle a pas envie de se faire bully par les autres, ok. I will not perform a final check on everything myself. Is that so? Very well. I will also check everything over at the very end. Shannon, take the young servants and prepare a new tablecloth. Try to find something white, with a bit more of a clean feeling. Yes, as you wish. Natsui was even more high-strung than normal, and worked about barking orders here and there. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow is the annual family conference. It isn't particularly rare for each of the individual families to visit the island, but this is the only time that they all come together. It was the most important day of the year for both the Ishinomiya family and Rokyanjima. Natsui, who was short-tempered on top of being high-strung, kept ordering that the servants redo this or that, since it really didn't look good after all. This would keep them going until late into the night. Now that Shannon had many years of experience and Natsui had put her in a position of responsibility. Le timer, bien vu, bien vu, bien vu, bien vu. S'il me laisse l'éditer, oui. Hop. Alors. Hop là. Now that Shannon, she was called over many times to have strict orders thrown on her. So, when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servants' waiting room, she fell asleep almost immediately. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound of wind the room would make. It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep, with the feel of the wind in my hair. Ah, le sport, ça, JDF. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound, it's a feeling. Then, is this a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. My. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Not only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the Nero servants. And even that is far from sufficient to repay you for all the hard work you've done. Why do you not tire of this life? Huh? Who? She wasn't just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find that it was real. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped. Les squats, c'est vraiment l'enfer. Bah, j'ai pris l'habitude d'en faire un peu tout le temps maintenant, genre au pif. Je sais pas, c'est pour éviter d'être trop sédentaire. De temps en temps, je me lève, je fais des squats. Hop, voilà. This place. She couldn't say anymore. She was literally stunned silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on a bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden on Wakanjima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden. And it wasn't just the flowers, but the dancing butterflies too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow, Shannon was sitting in a chair under the arbor. It was as though she had taken a nap there and woken up from a dream. But it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream? For some strange reason, it felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream. And that I had finally awakened here. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome to my golden rose garden. There was that voice again. Shannon looked around to find who it was. As she did, a golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form. It has been quite some time, Shannon. Have you been well? Of course I know you have been. After all, I have been watching all of you every day. This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden, and she didn't remember this person's face either. Indeed. You no longer remember me, do you? Have I forgotten about you? If so, please forgive me. There is no need to apologize. I made you that way, so it is no sin of yours. Let me introduce myself. I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Beatrice-sama? The benefactor of the Ishimiya family whom the master always speaks of? Not that Beatrice. I am the Golden Witch, the one who rules over Rukanjima's night. I am the other master of the mansion, the one you always pay homage to. You are Beatrice-sama? You need not fear. The two of us used to be friends, no, roommates, did we not? They were roommates? At one time, I idolized you and tried to be the best servant I could. I always had single-person rooms, so I couldn't have had a... When we last parted, I stole away your memory. However, I have not forgotten that we were once roommates. I also remember that I was the one who destroyed our friendship and left. So as to not leave you alone in sadness, I erased all of your memories in the very world of our days together. Moi non plus ma termine, mais en soi c'est du self-cest plutôt. You do not need to understand, but believe this. I have not called you here to do you harm. Isn't this inside one of my dreams? You may think of it that way. Strictly speaking, I beckoned your soul to my garden while you were sleeping. To invite you to be a resident of this world. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies all rose up around the rose garden. As a cloud of butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups and teapots, more elegant even than those used by the Ushiromiya family. The tea was filled to the brim and had a sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had never smelled before. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent. Butterflies started gathering one by one on the table, and the tea stand sprouted right out of it. It was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. It was a many-layered tea stand filled with beautiful cakes, like edible jewels. Of course, there were also several lovely, light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey, with bits of gold leaf dancing through it. It seems the Shinomiya family holds tea parties from time to time, but those cannot compare to mine. Incredible! I've never seen anything like this. Even if you did, it would only have been as a waitress. You are my friend. I need no waitress. After all, I am a witch. That is more than enough. Come, do not be shy. Stuff yourself to your heart's content. Thank you very much. That was all Shannon managed to say. It will be hard for anyone to say much more after being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party. Let us begin with black tea. The milk is fresh and the sugar is so delectable that you'd almost want to eat it raw. But I recommend you try your tea straight first. With nothing more than a single rose petal floating on the top, it will surely be delicious that you'll be unable to drink the black tea of the human world ever again. Laughing happily, Beatrice opened not a sugar pot but a rose petal pot, picked up a single crimson petal, and floated it on her tea after relishing its scent. Shannon did the same, picking up a single petal and smelling its aroma. It smells so wonderful. Is this really the scent of the roses in this world? I am glad you enjoy it. I bred this rose simply for the purpose of using the petals with black tea. If you crush them, they are so splendid for making jam. That goes better with scones than anything else imaginable. Do you want to try? Sure, just a bit. Shannon had been invited to this witch tea party suddenly. However, the witch seemed so truly innocent, and a smile as she played the hostess was so happy that it made Shannon want to smile too. The tension in Shannon's heart gradually faded, and she started to enjoy a chat with this witch. Seventh Rock really is tiring. I remember it well. Particularly cleaning the windowsills in the chapel. How surprising. So you worked at the Seventh once too? For a short time. You probably don't remember. But I worked alongside you. I was a clumsy fool who always lost things. You were my idea of a perfect servant and the person I looked up to. Coucou VGC. Eh oui, c'est Farland Chapeau ici en fait. Garde. Tac tac tac. Farland Chapeau, bim bim bim. That makes me even more sorry that I can't remember. There is no need for apologies. Here, you are not a servant, but my friend and guest. Sur Minecraft? Eh non! J'ai perdu à 1 seconde, on est rentré dans le portail en même temps. Et ça a même pas mis son achievement, donc j'ai cru que j'avais gagné. Genre, je passe le portail de l'end, et ça m'affiche gagnant Zarkos. Voilà. Voilà. C'est ma faute, j'ai mal joué le dragon, je savais pas le faire. J'aurais pu gagner, je suis rentré dans l'end 7 minutes en avance, visiblement. J'aurais pu faire un 26-27 minutes, à la place j'ai fait en 32. C'est la vie. There are no inconveniences here. No trial, no bother. C'est vrai que il me manquait une flèche pour tuer le dragon et je l'avais plus. J'avais plus de flèches. Je suis deg. Je suis vraiment deg en vrai. Mais bon, c'est comme ça. That is how much power you currently possess. I wanted to let you know that I have not reached that level. I'm truly grateful for you for welcoming one with so few redeeming features in such an extravagant way. Think of it as a reward for all of the painful days you have withstood. Come, gold butterflies. Il fait trop chaud, mes pistons sont tout secs. Ah. Ouais, il commence à faire bien chaud là, j'avoue, je le sens aussi. Don't let my friend get bored. Try a little dance. When you have tired of that, allow me to call the band to perform any song you would like. When you have tired of that, my refined familiars will show you some conjuring tricks. Fear not, for time is endless here, and I can grant your wish endlessly. My tea party has no end. In a truly good mood, the witch told Shannon several strange stories. They were all stories Shannon had never heard before. Very interesting stories. And they were all odd, bizarre fairy tales. Shannon felt as though she had become Alice in Wonderland. The time she spent at this tea party was strange, pleasant, and relaxed. No, the clocks have no hands at this tea party. So the time passed like a Sunday morning when you can wrap yourself in your blanket for as long as you want. I can't express how grateful I am to you for this. There is no need for thanks. In the human world, words of thanks go along with words of farewell, do they not? There will be no end to this tea party, so there is no need for thanks either. I'll still thank you. Thank you so much, Patrice-sama, for this wonderful tea party. But all dreams must end, and so must this one. Oh, and why must they end? Because I start early tomorrow. If I stay here circling too long, I'll sleep in and Madame will give me a good scolding. Why are you so anxious to return to the world of that short-tempered Natsui? Really now? Are you truly saying you want to return to the human world when it's all work and no rewards? But I am human. I can't impose myself on you forever. Ah! Ici elle se dit humaine et pas furniteur. Shannon, it seems that you do not understand. I invited you here, but I have no desire to chase you away again. Here, time is eternal. We are not obligated to say farewell either. Not even. I will never tire of enjoying tea with you. On the contrary, it is quite agreeable to have you here to talk to. I'm grateful for your words, but I am human. I must return to my own world. Why do you want to return to that colorless world, where you waste all your time with school and your job and the family works you to the bone? Despite all that, it's still my world. Shannon, does that sort of world really need to be yours? Let me be honest with you. Shannon, I didn't just invite you here. I came to take you home. Take me home? Once, I tried to become a good servant like you. Then I became fascinated by witches and became one myself, learning all the pleasures of magic. And now, I have come to take you home. Beatrice spoke quietly and slowly rose from her seat. Shannon, the world of witches truly is more fun than being a servant. This tea party is nothing more than a mere welcoming for one old friend. We can hold as many fun festivities as we desire. That is the endless, the eternal. Now that this golden rose garden has been completed, I have reached my goal. This place is paradise. Yes, let us call it the golden paradise. Now that this has been completed, I have come to welcome you in. There is no need for any inconveniences, any perseverance of hard work. Here, you and I can enjoy ourselves for all eternity. It will be like a never-ending fairy tale. I'm truly grateful for your splendid proposal. However, I need to go back to my original world. Why? Because this isn't my world. I acknowledge it. This is not the world you have lived in until now. That's why I have invited you here. From this point forth, this will be our world. You are no longer a guest. You are the second master of this world. You need show no restraint for my sake. We'll just live in this endless world like we once lived, as roommates. I regret that I have no memory of that time. However, I will have to turn you down your invitation. Why? What responsibility forces you to return to the world of humans? True, the world of humans, or the world of servants, is busy all the time. But I'm strict, high-strung, and has a short temper. It would be a lie if I said the everyday chores weren't a pain, and having to balance work with school makes it even harder. Ouah, j'y l'ai. Je sais pas si ça va marcher très longtemps, mais... Beatrice had watched over Shannon's painful days the whole time. She had seen those constantly tired shoulders heave in a sigh over and over. That was why she had invited Shannon there, to this golden paradise. She had tried to give Shannon a perfect welcome, to truly make her happy. So why had Shannon selected her original world over this one? Beatrice was overcome with shock and completely unable to understand. I have given you the perfect world, the perfect welcome to this paradise. And the days to follow will be even more fun. So since you still choose the human world over all of that, do you find something there that it is even more fun than the pleasure of witches? That's right. There are things in the human world that are even more fun than magic. Absurd. That cannot be. Et ce petit truc, c'est Battler. Yes, it's true. Shannon's expression was soft. However, her words were firm. There was something wonderfully fascinating in the human world. And that something was apparently not in the paradise, where everything was supposedly just as they wanted it. Absurd. I don't understand. As Beatrice muttered, she shifted restlessly several times. However, no matter how often she said it, Shannon's smile didn't falter, and Beatrice couldn't think of an answer. In that case, it's time for me to leave. Your tea was delicious. I don't understand. I am the Great Golden Witch, the one who can have anything endlessly. Tell me that I cannot give you what you want. Yes. I want to know. I believed I had everything, so tell me what it is I lack. I think that you already know. Isn't that why you invited me here? Are you trying to speak in riddles to a witch? That's all for now then. I can't live here, but I will be glad to come over whenever you invite me for tea. I won't call for you again. I have no fear of that. Beatrice snapped her fingers and Shannon popped out of existence. Shannon's soul had returned to the dream of her original self. While humans have many dreams in a night, they can remember none of them. The tea party in this paradise mixed in with many other dreams had unvanished. The next morning, Shannon would not remember this tea party. However, Shannon's cup remained there. The witch who had lost a guest and was standing alone looked all the more lonely. The witch dug her fingernails into the tablecloth. That grimace as she bit her lower lip made it clear that she still hadn't solved the puzzle Shannon had left behind. Witchy, there's no need to worry about it. A black hole opened above Shannon's empty seat, and the owner of that voice fell out of it. I do worry. Come on, how could she say it with such certainty? Maybe she just wanted to get back to sleep quickly, since dawn is coming soon. What pleasure could Shannon... No, that I do not. What is there something that can be found in the human world but not in my paradise? I don't understand. I want to know. Thinking about complicated stuff would just fuel your headache. I can be of service in Shannon's place. Let's enjoy a tea party together. I don't feel like it anymore. I'm bored of having tea parties with you. Oh, she's cranky. The witch shrugged and laughed, then took a bite out of a scone. She then blew into it, and it swelled up like a balloon before finally popping. Golden ribbons and butterflies flew out, but Beatrice didn't appear to notice. Just what is it that I do not possess? What? L'amour, Béatrice. L'amour. Watch your step there! Thank you, Captain. Make sure you take good care of yourself. I've got a friend who sells this stuff that's supposed to be great for stiff shoulders. I'll bring you a sample next time. No need to burn yourself, but thanks for caring. Vous avez vu qu'il n'y a pas de nouveau sprite? Ouais. Bah maintenant qu'on sait que c'est parce que c'est des sprites du Pachinko, je pense que la version PS3 doit avoir des sprites pour lui. Ouais, avec des Yoshi, en vrai, ça va avec des Yoshi. Plus vraiment, les filles, ils ont fait caca. Hein. Oui, elle en a. Oh, MG, elle en a. Salut Kiki. Bah écoute, faudra que je teste la version PS3. Hein. Vraiment, faut un, que je teste la version PS3 et deux, que j'aille check le manga après parce que j'arrête pas de voir des images du manga spoilées dans ma TL. Ça a l'air bien sympa. Là, on est au milieu du reveal. Comme quoi, j'avais raison, visiblement. Shannon, probablement égale à Canon, probablement égale à Béatrice. Donc là, on est dans le milieu de tout le reveal de ce passé-là. C'est trop bien. Tac, tac, tac. Hey, brats. How long are you gonna mess around up here? Let's go. Hey, Maria. Come down off the boat with Mama. Maria, who Rosa led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. Yes, 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 c'est le dernier moment où Battler va venir. On va comprendre enfin pourquoi Shannon, elle a la haine que Battler vienne plus. Je suis sûr que c'est ça le truc. Ouais, chapitre 7, c'est vraiment énormément de révélations de fou. Mais je suis content en fait d'en avoir guess quelques-unes quand même avant qu'on les ait. Ça, c'est vraiment satisfaisant. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, whom she rarely ever saw, were playing all around her and she was very excited. Battler and George had the energy of middle school or nearly middle school kids. Those two, along with Jessica, who had met them on Nejima, were clambering about on the boat. You okay, Asumu? You really don't like riding things, do you? OMG? Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asumu. On va pas voir son sprite. Je me fais scam là. Welcome to Rokanjima. Thank you for making such a long journey. The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph Wolf was still Asumu, and Ange hadn't been born. Godan Canon hadn't yet been employed by the Yoshinomiya family, and the witch's epitaph, which would tie with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime that they would encounter several years later. Cross-sama, madame. The family has arrived. Good. Should I call for father? Please do. I will go welcome everyone. Oh, Shannon. Who cleaned this window frame? It still has dust on it. Quickly, wipe it off. As you wish, madame. Oh, come on. That's what's making her work so hard again. Just what good does she find in such a limited, ulcer-inducing life? I wanted to know. Shannon, what is it that you found? And what did you mean when you said I already knew what I was missing? Shannon, is this something I must learn by learning about you? What's so different about the day of the family conference on Rokanjima? It's gotta be the noise. There's never this many kids around. It may have been a tension-filled day for the adults, but to us kids, it was a wonderful day, the only time we got to see all of the cousins we loved. In the summer, we'd play with our cousins on the beach, and even in the winter there were plenty of games we could play. The family conferences were tons of fun for us. Oui, exactement, VGC. Ah, tu les avais pas vus encore? Ah, du coup, j'ai une question à te poser. Same here. I was always hearing about how there must be no mistakes, but to me, it was just the day I got to play games with all my cousins. After all, there's usually nothing at all to do on Rokanjima. C'est vrai que, ah oui, je vais pas tilter, mais non, mais Battler, oui. Battler, il est là à la conférence d'il y a 6 ans. Visiblement, la dernière conférence où il est là, et pour moi, la raison pour laquelle Shannon pète un câble, c'est que vraiment, Battler et Shannon, il y avait quelque chose, et Battler n'est jamais revenu après. Et elle avait réussi à l'oublier avec George, et blablabla, et du coup, le fait que Battler revienne en 1986 lui a fait péter un câble. C'est vrai que c'est pas bizarre un peu que ça dans le théâtre, mais bon. Now that I tried putting myself in her shoes, it must have been a pretty constricting life. Probably. There's hardly anything on Rokanjima. No friend's house, no next door neighbors, no neighborhood. If you think of how Jessica must have felt, you have to feel a little sad for her. That's why the family conference was so special to me. Jumping around, messing around. It felt like I was at a festival. Non, ce sera pas It Was All a Dream, mais... Enfin, en soi, si, c'est des fragments de réalité. Est-ce qu'on peut pas dire que chaque chapitre, c'est un peu un rêve? Bah, je sais pas. Moi, je maintiens que la vraie réalité, c'est quand même Ange qui cherche la vérité. Pour moi, c'est ça la vraie réalité. Mais bon, j'imagine qu'on aura la réponse dans le chapitre 8. Critics are each other all the time. If the adults always talked about adult things and told the youth to go play somewhere else, then we were 3 cousins at about the same age. Ok, alors très important, VGC. Voilà, Furfur est d'un genre différent que Zepar. Zepar est d'un genre différent de Furfur. Du coup, lequel des deux est le mec? Fais gaffe, il y a une bonne réponse. Et c'est la mienne. Si tu n'as pas ma bonne réponse, tu es éliminé. Donc pour toi, Zepar, c'est le mec. C'est bien, tu es des nôtres. Bravo. Bienvenue au club des gens qui ont probablement raison. Voilà, c'est tout. C'est juste le débat de Setsuna de School Days All Over Again. Mais celui-là semble faire un peu moins débat, tu vois, puisque on ne saura jamais la réponse. Contrairement à Setsuna où tout le monde sait que ses cheveux sont noirs. Bref. Of course you don't surround. No, not the 3 of us. Merde, pardon. Not the 3 of us, the 4 of us. But I thought Ange wasn't born yet, and Maria was still too young to play with you. You've got it wrong, Furfur. The cousins weren't the only ones at the same age. C'est un traumatisme pas possible, mais vraiment, hein. Vraiment, c'est un traumatisme. Attends, juste... Je veux pas faire la prise d'otage, mais... Si jamais t'es encore là, Kiki, j'ai une question très importante. Est-ce que tu connais School Days? C'est très très important. Tu connais School Days. Est-ce que tu connais le personnage Setsuna? Bien sûr que tu connais Setsuna. Mon grand désarroi. Les jeux sont très bien, mais bon, je parlerai pas... Setsuna, attends, je vais la chercher, Je vais la chercher. Je vais la retrouver. Setsuna, elle. Oui. De quelle couleur sont ses cheveux? Vraiment, c'est juste... C'est vraiment un test, je pense, qui révèle si t'as... Vert qui penche vers le noir. Voilà, non, alors... Voilà, c'est le problème, en fait. C'est le problème, parce que tout le monde est en train de me dire que ses cheveux sont verts, et moi, je ne vois pas le vert. Pour moi, les cheveux sont noirs, et ça me semble évident. Et je sais pas, j'ai l'impression d'être fou. Ça fait plus d'1 an que ça dure. Moi qui ai l'impression d'être un schizo. et à demander aux gens, mais ses cheveux sont bien noirs. Et les gens qui me répondent, les cheveux sont verts, je deviens fou. Je vois pas le vert, hein. Le crachat assez légendaire. Ça a duré combien de temps, vraiment? Ils ont de notes des noirs et verts, mais... En fait, le vert, pour moi, c'est juste... Bah, c'est le reflet de la lumière. C'est juste un reflet de lumière, et c'est pas vraiment des cheveux, verts. C'est comme dire, là, mon petit chibi, c'est comme si, je sais pas, dire il a des reflets, je sais pas, violets. Alors que le but, c'est vraiment que les cheveux soient noirs. C'est juste... Ah oui, sur la secondaire, évidemment qu'il y a des chiants. Y a pas ça sur la principale, hein, on se demande pourquoi. Hein. Bref, tout ça pour dire, les cheveux sont noirs, et les gens qui les voient verts, je me pose des questions, Les notes de noir et vert, ouais. Je sais pas. Tu vois, Kotonoha, pour moi, c'est violet qui penche vers le noir. Oui, en soi, mais bon, c'est voulu que les cheveux de Kotonoha soient noirs. Par contre, par exemple, c'est Kai, ses cheveux sont bruns, si je dis pas de bêtises. Tac. Voilà, c'est Kai, ses cheveux sont bruns, alors que bon, ça change pas tant que ça. Mais bon, je veux pas trop détailler, j'ai trop joué à School Days, Shady Days. D'ailleurs, si jamais... Bon, j'imagine que t'as regardé l'animé, mais le jeu est bien. Le jeu est vraiment bien. Il y a beaucoup de fins et tout, et le jeu est entièrement animé. C'est vraiment un exploit parmi les VN. Bon, après, ça reste un jeu un peu dégène, on va pas se le cacher. Mais beaucoup mieux que l'animé. C'est pour ça que j'ai un affect assez particulier pour la franchise. Même si je préfère encore plus le spin-off Shiny Days, avec Setsuna, justement. T'es allergique au cul? Ah bah oui, non bah du coup, oui, non, effectivement, là, School Days, Shiny Days, il faut... On aborte, Non, faut pas y aller. Ouais, non, faut pas. On va rester sur Umineko, là, pour le coup, il y en a pas. À part Kinzo, qui est un énorme... Voilà, hein, on va pas en parler de Kinzo, je pense qu'on en a déjà assez dit. Shannon-chan was the force. She was about the same age as the rest of us. Mom was always going on about not talking with the 7 kids. But Shannon and I started to get close. After all, she was the girl closest to me in age on Rakenjima. Pire parent entre Rosa et Kinzo. Bah, Rosa, elle maltraite son gosse, Kinzo a fait un gosse à son gosse. Voilà, bon, au bout d'un moment, je pense que le choix est fait quand même. En fait, je dis ça, mais Kinzo aimait vraiment son gosse, donc finalement, c'est... Finalement, je sais pas, il y a débat, hein. Ah ouais? J'ai pas vu Kiki. Faudra que j'aille check. En fait, j'ai envie de check tellement de trucs sur Mineko, mais je sens que si je vais le check avant d'avoir fini, je vais me spoil des trucs de fou du chapitre 8, donc faut pas... Mais par contre, dès que j'ai fini, je fais une nuit entière à aller rattraper tout ce que j'ai pu louper. Et voilà, je vais check à la fin. Ouais, c'est vrai qu'il y a débat en vrai. Quel est le pire parent entre un parent qui n'aime pas son enfant, qui le maltraite et tout, et un parent qui aime un peu trop son enfant? Non, je sais même pas s'il y a débat là. Je sais pas. On peut pas reprocher à Kinzo de ne pas aimer son enfant. C'est sûr que de ce point de vue-là, ça, c'est... Ouais. Ouais, non, je sais pas si j'ai envie d'avoir ce débat. Oh là là. On dit des cheveux verts, ouais. Non, cheveux noirs. Oh. Par contre, vrai truc, ça veut dire que Jessica aime les filles. Il y a une image de Natsuki en nuisette qui se réveille au lever du soleil. Oh. Ouais, alors... alors le truc, c'est que du coup, est-ce que c'est de l'art genre PS3 ou est-ce que c'est l'art avec les sprites de Ryu... Enfin, de Ryokishi, là. Ça me ferait... Je sais pas. Ça me ferait marrer que ce soit avec les sprites comme ça, mais j'en doute. Mais en fait, le truc, c'est que la version PS3 a l'air vraiment épique de ce que j'ai vu. J'ai vu le combat, genre fin de chapitre 5 de version PS3. Il y a tellement de trucs qui changent. Vraiment, t'as des trucs sprites qui se rajoutent, t'as du mouvement, j'ai l'impression que c'est pas vraiment le même jeu, en fait. Après, je regrette pas d'y jouer avec la version d'origine, mais je pense que si jamais je le refais un jour, je le ferai avec la PS3. C'est ça, ouais, il y a plus de contenu, j'ai l'impression. Bah, en même temps, normal, c'est une version release... Enfin, c'était fait pour ça, j'imagine. Mais bon, j'aime bien le... Enfin, je veux dire, ils ont une âme, on va dire, les trucs comme ça. Petites images comme ça, je trouve qu'elles ont une âme. All four of us played together. We played at every family conference. Right, Shannon? Right. I knew that Madame would scold me if she found out, but I would not have let her. You were always the one close friend I had who couldn't stand me. Thank you for your words, milady. I simply could not hide my shock. How had she formed a relationship with the children of the family, despite being only a servant? Natsu had probably been very careful to prevent such a relationship. However, it's no surprise that Jessica, all alone on this island, would want to be friends with a kid her age. And Shannon was also alone on this island, without any friends her age. Though they both understood the relationship as master of servants, they somehow managed to strike up a friendship. Si jamais Kiki, une fois que j'ai fini le chapitre 7, je compte faire le chapitre 8 d'une traite. Là, comme les vacances arrivent, je vais en profiter. Donc ça va être un moment fun, je pense. Soit d'une traite, soit en deux fois. Je sais pas si je le fais d'une traite vraiment, parce que vraiment, sinon personne va suivre. Je pense 2 petites sessions de 10 heures, ça peut être sympa. Je disais ça juste si jamais tu voulais check la fin, mais je sais bien, avec tes propres streams et tout, ça peut être compliqué. De toute façon, je m'attends pas à ce que quiconque puisse suivre d'un coup. Mais ouais, faudra que je prépare ça. Déjà, faut finir chapitre 7. Je pense qu'on est à la moitié, là. Then, at the family conference, Jessica had introduced Shannon to George and Butler. Fiche. Bah, je peux le faire, j'ai déjà fait avec le chapitre 1, mais... Est-ce que je vais le faire avec le chapitre 8? All of the adults had their hands full with their complicated discussion in the mansion. During that time, Shannon was able to set aside her role as a servant for a little bit, acting her age with Jessica, George and Butler. I didn't even know that Shannon had constructed this new world so quickly. At the butterfly hiding in the shadows, I observed this new world of Shannon's. Par contre, du coup, c'est très très bizarre que la Shannon petite soit représentée encore avec la Shannon adulte. Yes, bon stream Kiki. À la prochaine. Ah, je kiffe déjà le pic, hein. J'enjoy the ride. That day, we ran all around the rose garden and the beach. Just running around and playing was a blast. Yep. Those were the only times that Shannon Shine smiled like a girl her age. I might have gotten a bit carried away. Embarrassing. Butler's insanely huge now, but back then, Shannon and I were both taller and stronger than him. C'est vrai qu'il y a que Eva qui a le droit à son sprite plus jeune, hein. Tous les autres, ils sont vraiment... I just grew slowly back then. They said that those who start late end up the tallest. Yeah, totally. Back then, your chest was nothing like this, right? Bon. Butler. Et George qui arrive. Oh non, c'était pas vrai, elle en avait déjà une bonne grosse paire. That's not true. Shannon already had plenty of womanly charm back then. C'est vraiment ce qu'il dit, putain. Who knows? What the hell do you mean by womanly charm, you perv? Well, I was still pretty cute back then myself. That brass strap you could see through the shoulder of her summer clothing set off the lightning of youth in me. Ooh. I remember whispering with George Aniki that night about how big her tits might be. Eh bé, des gosses, hein? Is this true, George Sama? Really, there have been some sort of misunderstanding. I remember I was lecturing him as the older and more knowledgeable cousins about the difference between how boys and girls grow. On est vraiment de retour dans le chapitre 1. Hein. On rappelle que dans le chapitre 1, Battler a dit des trucs... Il a littéralement dit à Maria, t'inquiète, dans 10 ans... Bref. Écoute, c'est pas le petit-fils de son grand-père pour rien. Hein. Yeah, I remember all of us cousins talking about stuff like that until midnight. But there apparently someone in the next house that kissed someone else. Oh, how you end with a girl you liked at the summer camp. About so-and-so, who you so probably liked you, stuff like that. Damn, it is so embarrassing that it makes me shiver. Isn't that nice? Another sweet page in the book of adolescence. The most pure love comes when boys and girls first start noticing each other. That simple, pure desire just to be around someone of the opposite sex. And the noble first loves. Just wonderful. A bunch of kids thinking and talking about the world of love. Did that sort of thing really happen? Le fils de son père, le petit-fils de son grand-père, le cousin de son cousin. Ouais, il est tout, hein. Tant qu'il n'est pas le fils de son grand-père. Tout va bien. Don't play down. You are the most absurd and curious of all of us, sitting there till even your ears turn red. C'est peut-être le fils de son grand-père. On sait pas encore. I wasn't curious. I was just surprised at how much everyone knew, and... That's right. Shannon always played them the most, even though she was the most interested. Béatrice, c'était la fille de son grand-père. Ouais, non, mais... Après, ouais, voilà. C'est peut-être aussi le... Si c'est canon, c'est peut-être aussi le fils de son grand-père, finalement. That's not true, that's not true. I hate you, milady. Yeah, it was always like this. In the day, we'd run around like kids, and at night, we'd hug our pillows and talk about secret stuff. Ils vivaient vraiment leur meilleure vie, hein. Looking back on all of it now, it really brings back some fond memories. We'd be whispering about something dirty, and whenever we heard the footsteps of the adults coming by, we'd jump under the covers and pretend to be sleeping. Moi, j'ai un peu vécu ça. J'ai un peu vécu ça... Putain, je suis en train de réfléchir, ça se trouve, je suis le battler de quelqu'un. Parce qu'en fait... Attends, je suis en train de réfléchir. Moment lore. Moment lore. Alors... Bon, j'en parle, on est sur la secondaire. J'ai en fait... Vous savez, le 15 août, c'est une fête... c'est une fête, c'est férié. Et dans ma famille étendue, on a l'habitude de tous se retrouver le 15 août... parce que ma famille gère des... Enfin, d'un certain côté de ma famille, gère des vergers. Elle gère une grande exploitation agricole, et toute ma famille se retrouve tous les 15 août là-bas, et on est genre un peu plus d'une centaine. Donc c'est un peu comme, tu vois, la Rokkenjima, c'est un peu comme ça. On se retrouve tous, et bah du coup, effectivement, tous les enfants se retrouvent, on joue tous ensemble. Et j'ai souvenir qu'on... Bah, d'un peu ce genre de situation, genre tard le soir, on parlait un peu de tout ça. J'ai souvenir d'avoir passé une soirée entière à parler avec une cousine en haut d'un palox. C'était quelque chose. Bref, j'aimais bien cette cousine, je crois qu'elle m'aimait pas mal aussi. Le truc c'est qu'un jour j'ai juste arrêté de venir. J'ai juste arrêté de venir, parce que... pour différentes raisons. Et ça se trouve un jour j'y retournerai, je vais créer une situation Rokkenjima. Ça se trouve je vais créer une situation comme ça, hein. Ça va vraiment être ça en fait. Je suis le battler de l'univers. Je vais revenir et va être en mode... Mais... Oh. Je vais détruire l'équilibre. Ah non, mais j'ai... Ouais, j'ai... C'était... Bah, en plus, c'était à peu près vers les mêmes âges, donc ça se tient, hein. Bon, après, moi, j'ai attendu plus que 6 ans. Là, ça fait combien de temps? Ça fait 12 ans que j'y suis pas allé? Ouais, hein. Un jour, peut-être, j'y retournerai. Et je créerai mon propre Rokkenjima. Bref, allez, on reprend l'histoire. Ça, ce sera un moment pour... on en reparlera plus tard, pendant les Farlands. Peut-être. Peut-être. Yeah, remember that. Like some school field trip. Those times we all dove under the covers at once. Felt like some sort of unspoken rule, like a strange sense of unity. I really like that feeling. Well, anyway, that's not all we talked about. There was a lot more than that. We really did enjoy our youth to the fullest. And what is this? Shannon, is this that fun thing of the human world? Is this incomprehensible messing around the thing that you found? A bunch of kids gathered together, playing stupid games and talking about trivial matters. Is it the human pleasure you found that surpasses the pleasures of witches? Eh non. Ah si. Yes. Doesn't it look fun to you? I won't call it boring. However, I cannot see how such a vulgar game can compare to my paradise, where all the wishes can be granted. Interacting with people is a lot of fun. Of course, I also think your world is fun. But even so, I chose this world. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Beatrice held her head as though she was having a headache. But no matter how much she grimaced, she couldn't think of an answer. Tell me, what is it that you found within this Virgil playing? Do you want to know? I do. Love. Yes! Love? Here, it's the Queen book I promised. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to borrow it. That's okay, you can keep it, Shannon-chan. I've already read it. But I can't accept this. It was probably expensive. It's just something I've got for a few hundred yen at the bazaar. Don't worry about it. I'd rather if you read it quickly so we can talk about it. It's fun to talk about this sort of stuff with you, Shannon-chan. Butler qui était un fan de mystery novels aussi. Yes, it's fun for me too. It's much more fun to read mystery novels with two people instead of alone. I like talking about it. And imagining all kinds of things. With mystery novels, reading's only half the fun. My theory is that you can only really enjoy it when you talk with other people who've read it too. Our relationship began when we realized that we both read mystery novels. Bah en vrai oui hein. Même s'il avait beaucoup de mal sur les premiers chapitres. We're both surprised and very interested to find that the other not only read tons of mystery novels. Et du coup, toute leur tea party et tout ça en fait c'est juste ce qu'ils faisaient quand ils étaient plus jeunes. Genre ils parlaient des mystères et tout. Oh. Béatrice, elle voulait juste ça. Elle voulait juste revivre ces moments avec Butler. I was surprised and very interested to find that the other not only read tons of mystery novels, but read them very thoroughly. Ever since then, it's been like this. Separate from the games we played with all the cousins, the two of us met together for some time alone. At first, it was like a sort of contest to see who knew more than the other. However, eventually this turned into respect for how much the other had read and how deeply they were able to think about it. Respect, trust, those emotions made our friendship even stronger. Of course, all of that had still fallen within the category of friendship, but we were still slightly aware of the fact that the other was of the opposite sex, making for a relationship that was charming or useful or maybe you could call it exciting. However, we were still at the age where calling us young men and women would probably be a bit too gracious. Of course, we didn't know a thing about love, so we could not understand that exciting feeling in our chest, both bitter and sweet, that we only felt when we were alone together. Ah bah oui, Georges il est jaloux de fou, mais... Ouais. I've realized that there was some unknown emotion hidden behind that feeling. And as our Earths raced, we had our hands upon the door. That was the exciting edge we were at. So, at some point, our discussions about mystery novels became just an excuse for us meeting alone. There aren't many mystery novels that care much about the whodunit. The whodunit? You mean the culprit's motive? Yeah. There are 3 points you need to figure out in mystery novels. The whodunit, the howdunit, and the whydunit. A lot of mystery novels deal with the first 2, but surprisingly few worry about the final one. Well, I know about many works that take great care to have the culprit confess his motive after it's been found out. But it has be something you can reason out before the culprit confess, or it doesn't count. Personally, I think it's not fair for a person who supposedly didn't have a motive to commit the crime, unless it's possible to reason his or her motive out. Et du coup, le why done it de Shannon, pourquoi est-ce que tu tues tout le monde? Bah, j'imagine qu'elle pète un câble, juste de le fait de revoir Battler, je sais pas. Je sais pas. J'avoue, j'ai pas forcément le motif en tête, là. Who's done it? Who's the culprit? How done it? How did he commit the crime? Why done it? Une manière chelou de se faire souvenir d'elle? Oui! En fait, non! Ça se trouve, il n'y a jamais eu de mort sur Okenjima, et crée juste des histoires. Non mais en fait, non, même pas ça, parce que... Je veux bien que Battler soit un connard. Mais Battler, il aura pas oublié Shannon en 6 ans. Il aura pas oublié leur relation. C'est pas possible. Il y a forcément quelque chose qui déconne, là. There are a ton of works that ask about who the culprit is and what tricks they used. In fact, almost all are like that. However, I don't think there are many novels that ask you to figure out the motive. Good point. That might be the most neglected of the 3. Series that don't take the whodunit seriously don't really feel complete to me. Je crois qu'il essaie de nous faire comprendre un truc, l'auteur. No, I'm not saying they're boring. More like they're missing the most important part. The most important part is missing? The Earth. The Earth is missing. Okay. The Earth. I think the human Earth is a really important thing. If a person's gonna decide to commit murder, plan it out, get everything ready, and actually carry it out, you need an incredibly strong force of the Earth. The Earth is what moves people. C'est comme le truc des personnages de Jessica. C'est déguisé en Béatrice et que Butler a jamais compris. Oh! En soi, oui! Ça se trouve, il a jamais vraiment vu Shannon. Il voyait que Canon et tout. Il était en mode, ouais, bon. Je sais pas. In other words, only the Earth can kill a person. When an emotional evil grows strong enough to make a person want to kill, the result is a tragedy called murder. If you turn it around, does that mean that the true way to close in on the crime is by searching for the Earth that brings about the tragedy of murder? Only the Earth can kill a person. If a person has been killed, you must search for that Earth. That's what he's saying. That's why I can't really enjoy novels where the culprit is just a homicidal maniac who kills for fun. And then you like novels that show a strong enough movement of the Earth to lead to murder? That's right. My favorite ones are the novels that let you reason that out. As he spoke, he looked back at me and smiled. Before today, I used to like novels that focus on exposing tricks. However, I decided to look for novels like the ones he recommended in the future. I don't like neglecting the Earth. The Earth is what makes people move. Yeah, I think you're right. Le Battler qui avait 12 ans, il était un peu plus sensible, hein. It isn't limited to the mystery genre. All humans are moved by the Earth all the time. Being able to notice the Earth is what allows for interactions between people. No, interactions between Earths. None of us humans can live on our own. And yet, we have no way of peeking into the Earths of others. That's why every meeting between people is the mystery of the Earth. Finding those, reasoning about them, and understanding each other is the key to interaction between people and Earth. The two of us are here all alone, talking together about mysteries. And through that, we are searching out each other's Earth. Speaking of the Earth's mystery, I want you to feel about me the way I feel about you. We were searching, trying to figure out the depths of the other's Earth in this mystery of love. Aww. Look how late it has gotten. I wonder if Aniki and the others are waiting for us. Yes, we should probably go back soon. Time seems to fly by when I'm talking with you, Shannon-chan. You seem to be speaking the words of my heart. We're thinking the same thing, so the same words came out. I wish we could talk like this forever. I hate clocks. Same here. Talking about this stuff with you is the most fun part of coming to Rokenjima. When I saw that his smiling eyes were looking right at me, I turned away. I couldn't let him see my suddenly red face. If only I could leave this place, I'll be able to read so much more. The bookshop on Nijima that I go to and the bookshop he goes to in the city are on completely different scales. The book exchange between the two of us had been completely one-sided, with him giving me all the books. How long do you plan to be a servant, Shannon-chan? Ooh... I don't know. If someday you decide to quit, if I do, come over to my place. Eh, Battler, la merde d'avoir oublié quand même, hein. Battler, la grosse merde. He said it almost carelessly. Maybe he was a bit embarrassed since he laughed weakly and blushed a little. And then, you won't need to worry about time running out anymore. That's right. We could be together as long as we wanted. The little secret dates on this island only happened a few times a year. And even when they did happen, it was only for a short, uncertain period of time. It wouldn't work over the phone or with letters. We can only talk about our mystery when we're standing together like this. I know that day will come someday. You think it will? Yeah, I'm certain of it. Certain? Why is he certain? When that day comes, I'll come for you, riding a white horse. What? After saying this, he turned away. He was probably too proud to show me his blushing cheeks. But even without saying, I knew what his face looked like. Oh! Mais attends, mais du coup, Battler qui se vante d'avoir chopé plein de copines et tout. C'est quand même un sacré fils de pute, hein. Aïe 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 aïe. Oh le con. C'est peut-être ça hein, qui a fait snap Shannon. C'est peut-être vraiment ça qui a fait snap Shannon. Hein. La génétique est mauvaise. Aïe 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 aïe. But even without saying, I knew what his face looked like. To come riding on a white horse, isn't that like a prince finding a white horse? So what exactly does that mean? Does it mean you're going to be my prince? My mind was going blank, so I just couldn't reason out his mystery of love, even though it was all plain and simple. I wonder when that day will come. Anytime you're ready. Huh? My heart skipped a bit. It was so sweet, yet it hurt. Anytime's good for me. This is your life we're talking about, Shannon-chan. You should think about it carefully before you decide. Once you've made up your mind, I respect your decision no matter when you make it. Okay. I'll keep on waiting until that day comes. If only I'd been a bit more foolish and courageous. Could have said then and there that I was already prepared and asked him to take me away from this island right away. But I couldn't say it. I had to think carefully about my future for both of our sakes. My head was filled with pointless, senseless thoughts. I'm glad. Thank you. This back still to me. He scratched his head and laughed. I knew he was doing this out of embarrassment, so I could clearly tell what his expression must have been. In the same way, I must have realized what my face looked like. We both puzzle solvers of love. We theorize about each other's love, solving each other's mysteries. Thanks for giving me time. You have all the time in the world. No, I would feel bad if I kept you waiting too long. So I've decided. I should say that I will decide. I don't mean that I will keep my job today, right now. Yes, 1 year. 1 year from... Ah! No! La promesse. La promesse. If a year after now you still feel like coming for me on a white horse, and me too. If I still like you a year from now, I would like to dedicate the rest of my life to you. 1 year from now, right here, I'd like to make my decision. A year, huh? That sounds good. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. That's a good amount of time to look honestly into your heart. So next year, please come for me, okay? Yep. Responded to my cowardly determination with a quick, strong answer. I'll be waiting for that day to come. Yes, I'll be waiting too. Make sure you come, okay? Yeah. Don't forget. Come here next year, okay? Yeah. I'll come, that's for certain. I'll meet you here. That's for certain. Alors, mon call... Est-ce que Battler n'est pas juste mort depuis le début? Est-ce qu'il serait pas mort avec Asumu? Et Shannon se l'imagine revenir à Rokkenjima? Et Battler n'est jamais vraiment là. Je sais pas. Je sais pas. Et en tous les cas, il faut une explication sur le pourquoi Battler n'est pas le fils d'Asumu. Tous les jeux avec Béatrice, bah pour moi c'est juste Shannon qui essaye de faire se souvenir de Battler. Je sais pas. Non, je sais pas. En vrai, c'est une théorie peut-être un peu nulle. Aïe 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 aïe. That's for certain. Il a totalement oublié ce gros con. I see. So this emotion that feels like sweetification is love. It is an emotion I do not know. One I do not have. Though my magic can grant any wish. Though my paradise can grant any wish. That thing I cannot have, that incomprehensible emotion that burns like fire and yet madly one wants to hold it close. All I know is that no matter how great a witch I might become, I cannot create this emotion. It must be given by another person. For the first time, I realized that I wasn't all-powerful, and I knew what Shannon had discovered in the world of humans. This emotion, it's just too much. Once you felt it, there's no forgetting it, is there? Shannon, you win. Love, is it? It may be the most important element, the one that I lack. Shannon, I'll watch and see how your love develops. So please, teach me more and more about this new emotion. Eh B, l'amour c'est vraiment plus important. Le pape avait raison. Ouais, il avait raison. This form is... I'm lending it to you. After all, I hate idiots. Call yourself Claire as a temporary name. How would you prefer, Beata? Ah d'accord, donc Lyon, c'est juste... ça a abandonné, là, c'est devenu clair. Putain, Shannon, elle aurait pu avoir une vie de fou. Et à la place, c'est une servante. Have my gratitude. This way I won't have to expose my pitiful form. When Castle had given Claire a fake form, it was a temporary form for the person acting the part of Beatrice. A fake to fool those who still hadn't discovered Beatrice's true form. Ah non, pardon, j'ai rien dit. Then is this a tale about me in another world? Leon, this is indeed a tale of you in another world, and also my tale. The tale of a world where I live as a witch, not a human. I am capable of imagining what-if scenarios for my own life. However, the tale you tell is beyond anything I can imagine. Even so, it's the life that another you has led. But still, that doesn't mean I can accept it easily. Leon suddenly yelled and looked at the floor. Leon already knew. Because of the fragments left by Brent Castle, Leon knew. There was a different world where Leon lived as a Golden Witch Beatrice. And in this world, eventually, on the day of the 1986 October Family Conference, she will be the ringleader of a terrible crime. Even if it's a different world, it's saying that I get my entire family and all of the Sevens involved in a terrible crime that I'm the mastermind of. How am I supposed to deal with that? Be quiet, listen, and figure it out. In this different life, I end up as a servant. If that wasn't enough, I suddenly become a witch. Then I eventually carry out several terrifying murders. I was supposed to understand that. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I doubt anyone could understand. This person here said that no one will ever understand. That's why you're there. That's why Brent Castle brought you two. Two people who never should have met together like this. It's not like I had any deep reason for it. It was just a whim. This is a motive that no one else can understand, Leon, so you need to be the one to understand it. I'm not the main character in this tale. You are. I'm just here to help you understand. You said that you understand the culprit's motive. Yes. Is that motive a satisfying explanation for why I would kill my entire family? Who knows? That's for you to decide. Even if I say it's satisfying, that doesn't mean it would satisfy you. You have to decide that for yourself. I really don't have a clue what's going on. I've seen several crimes called game boards that Beatrice supposedly carried out. And now I'm hearing another me talk about a different life from mine. But there's no connection between that and the crime. I don't understand. At this point in the tale, even I could not have dreamed that they would eventually carry out such terrible crimes. In fact, even if I had been able to dream of it, I did not have the power to commit those crimes at that time. Probably. Misfortune probably came when you solved the epitaph's riddle. Oh! Huh? You mean that epitaph about the hidden goals, which grandfather supposedly wrote? There exists a system for getting different accomplices for each crime. Reasoning can lead us to the possibility that the culprit possessed a vast amount of money. Putain, ça se trouve, elle l'a... Ben oui, en fait, la logique. Pourquoi est-ce que Béatrice... Enfin... Comment est-ce que Béatrice elle pourrait embaucher autant de monde? Est-ce que ça voudrait pas dire que Shannon elle a l'argent depuis le début et elle s'en sert pour embaucher du monde? Ça se tient, hein. Et du coup, elle a récupéré son argent. Finalement. You can also envision another system which involves inviting all to the Golden Land and making all loves be a fruit. It wasn't just the motive. We've already seen that far as well. That's the answer to that final riddle from the first game. Your greatest misfortune was solving the epitaph, reviving as the Golden Witch in the truest sense, and gaining magical power. Looking back, was that woody misfortune after all? I do not know. However, as long as the fact that Battler-san returns in 1986 remains unchanged, some sort of tragedy will certainly have occurred. That's right. If Battler had returned a year earlier or later, that incident might not have occurred. Bah ouais. Et l'incident, c'est que elle est tombée amoureuse de George. Some small accident probably would have occurred. It would certainly have been a mysterious, impossible accident which no one could have explained. But even so, compared to that Rokenji Masail murders, it would have been a tiny thing. If Butler could have returned a year earlier or later, then what? Fate can be so filled with irony. It made me walk the path of a witch, and when I saw the epitaph, I became a true witch. Then 6 years passed, and I learned of his return. If all of that was fate, then this crime must have been inevitable and inescapable for me. In 1980, Butler was responsible because of the death of his mother, Asu, and his father's remarriage that came too soon, so he left the Ishinomiya family. For 6 full years, he had no direct contact with them. He convinced his grandparents on his mother's side to help him and went by his mother's maiden name. Then, when those grandparents passed away, he finally met up with Rudolph and returned to the Yoshinoya family again in 1986. That bad luck gave birth to your motive for the crime. I did wonder, why after 6 whole years did he finally come back? I understand. In a way, it would have been better for you if he had never come back. Of course, my suffering would have continued. However, I may not have tainted myself with the unforgivable crime of mass murder. How could Battler-kun leaving create a motive? You got it backwards. Backwards? The crime didn't occur because Battler left. It happened because Battler came back. The more I think about it, Yoshinoya Battler was quite a disagreeable man. More than anything else, because he never realized that the outbreak of the crime was his fault. He did remember in the end. However, that was long after you gave up and disappeared. If that is so, then it will give my heart some peace. I don't have a clue what you are talking about anymore. But I'd like to ask you bluntly. I want to know. What on earth happened to you that made you decide to commit a crime? Yes, that's the most important part. It's just like how Ushinomiya Battler respected the wider knit in the mystery novels. That's where the answers to all the riddles are hidden, both in the tale of the Golden Witch and in the game. In that case, allow me to continue. 1980. 6 years before I resolved myself to committing the crime. Chapter 6. Days of Trials. Ooh. (1980), 6 years until the accident. Battler-sama has left the Yoshimiya family? That's what Cross-sama and Rudolph-sama were saying. What a shock. I had no intention of criticizing your way of life of your family situation. However, father is in a towering rage. Generating your son is one thing, but I've never heard of a child becoming fed up and leaving the family on his own. That Battler can be surprisingly stubborn. Sort of like someone else I know. If you're unable to understand Battler-kun's feelings, I might question your right to be a father. Enough, Natsui. I'm sure Rudolph was just trying to show how dedicated he was to raising Kazuya-san's child in his own way. I would have nothing to say if this were happening next year. But why this year? In this period of mourning? Consider the timing of this pregnancy, one must acknowledge that Rudolph-sama has acted gracefully. Come on, don't be so harsh. It's my way of atoning for what I've done. Battler-kun still trying to protest against you on the behalf of his departed mother, Asumu-san. Il a totalement raison. I deeply understand how he feels. If you were here, I would want to hold him and cry along with him. Je pense qu'on verra jamais le sprite d'Asumu. Je pense qu'on le verra jamais, hein. Je pense qu'on le verra. Je sais pas. Non, chapitre 8, ouais, peut-être. Chapitre 8, c'est Asumu l'héroïne. Et on apprend que c'est elle qui a tout géré. Ah là là. Natsui's words were sharp. They pierced Rudolph mercilessly. Rudolph had no retort. His relationship with Kirie had been adulterous, plain and simple. According to Rudolph, he had been close to Kirie longer than Asumu. And even after his marriage to Asumu, that relationship has not disappeared. What the hell does that mean? You old bastard. You've just been betraying Mom from the start. Sure, I know Kirie-san. You told me that she was your business partner and a friend whose advice you could always rely on. Trying to say after all this time that she was more than that, then why should I give a damn? After Mom dies, you could have done whatever you wanted. I'm right there with you, saying that you should live life as you please. But since when did Kirie get pregnant? Back when Mom was still alive, right? You know, I finally see. So this is why you always make me want to vomit. Are you glad that Mom's finally dead now? You are, aren't you? I'm sure it would have been so hard on you, keeping your infidelity, living a kid secret when Mom was still alive. But now that Mom conveniently kicked it, you get to marry Kirie-san and I get a new little brother or sister. You can bet that Mom's crying in heaven. You bastard, you're embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. So embarrassed I can stand to have the same last name as you. The kid is completely guiltless. It would be too sad if he or she doesn't have both parents together. Go ahead, build a new family and raise that kid to have a happy life. But I will never forgive you. Mom isn't here to hate you anymore. I'll hate you in her place. With all of my body and soul. So long, old bastard. Aïe aïe aïe. Mérité. Mérité, ouais. That is enough, Natsui. Glossan hadn't lost the affection he feels for Battle-kun. It may take some time, but he wants to fix their relationship one day. As if father should. Plus some complete stranger, that will be one thing, but he's your own flesh and blood, son. It's really your responsibility. Go ahead. Despise me all you want. I won't argue. That's the only way I can atone. At the very least, make sure you give the new child a happy life. The kid was going to be born on Battler. They're both my kids. Wedding Kirie-san after Asumu's dance may have been painful for Battler-kun, but it was the best choice you could make for the coming child. I understand why you did it. I understand why Battler-kun felt like telling you that you were happy Asumu-san is dead. Stop, Natsui. Rudolph has already been scolded enough by the person most fit to do so. Now then, how about some black tea? Could you go ask someone in the kitchen to make us some? Understood. Natsui took this sign as a signal to leave the room and did so. When she left, Cross relaxed slightly. I feel bad for Asumu-san, but if you consider the timing of a soon-to-be-born child, this might have been quite a coincidence. Almost as though Asumu knew that and stepped down from the stage of her own choosing. Ou alors Kirie-san a totalement causé l'incident. Genre la folle. Peut-être, hein. Je parierais pas contre ça. Kirie a l'air de bien tout faire pour se réapproprier Rudolph quand même. Donc peut-être. Did I kill Asumu? If so, how long has it been since I started killing her? If you still treasure as a Sumo-san's memory, then no matter how many years it takes, you must fix your relationship with Battler-kun. Yeah, I know. And be sure to project as much affection and Kirie-san and the new child that has to be born. While also bearing Asumu-san's cross. If they have visits in hell. If they do, I'd like to reserve myself a VIP slot. Ah, il regrette un peu quand même, Rudolph. Hein. Malgré le fait que ce soit une merde. Il arrive juste pas à tenir son pantalon, c'est tout. The news that Battler had abandoned the Ishimiya name swept across the family. And poor Battler-san too. I do believe that he will make up with them eventually, but... This is a matter for the family. It is not something Sevens need to concern themselves with. Instead, we should focus on memorizing the face of the newest member of the Ishimiya family, Kirie-san. Yes, that's true. She will be coming to the family conference this year. The person who just joined the Ishimiya family will be coming to the conference. Then what about the person who just left the family? That means Battler isn't coming, right? That seems the most probable outcome. How lonely is the loss of a single noisy man? Though most people felt a bit lonely to see Battler leave the Yoshimiya family, they didn't think any more about it than that. However, what about Shannon? Wasn't Battler supposed to come for her on a white horse? I was surprised at first. I thought that since he had left the family, he might not be coming to this island anymore. If you consider Battler-san's feelings, this is only natural, I guess. I understand painfully well why he wanted to leave his family. Does that really mean he won't come to Rokenjima anymore? What on earth is going on? Will he really never return? Remember to ask him directly. I was forced to live each day faithfully. Et y a pas de téléphone à l'époque. Enfin si, mais... Battler-san, I understand how you feel, but... You said that you'll never return because you've abandoned your family. That's a lie, right? Il abandonne sa famille, et Shannon-san, c'est un peu la famille aussi. I was so confused that the world seemed to be spinning around me. I had a tight feeling in my chest and couldn't think about anything. When I happened to touch my cheek, I was surprised to find it out and wet. While revealing a truly miserable expression on my face, I was crying. Les 2000 tonnes d'or qui peuvent pas encaisser la facture téléphonique. Bon, en fait, y a pas que ça, c'est juste... Il est parti. Elle a pas de moyen de le joindre. Genre, elle a pas son numéro. Même si elle avait un numéro, elle a pas de moyen de le joindre. Enfin, non. C'est juste, elle a pas de numéro. On est en 80. Comment tu vas retrouver un mec qui a décidé, ok, je me tire, et je pars à l'autre bout du pays? Tu peux pas. Ça c'est un truc qu'on ne peut pas imaginer de nos jours. Mais vraiment, il y a 50 ans, tu pouvais disparaître. Tu pouvais vraiment disparaître. C'est impossible maintenant. Entre, juste le fait que tout est lié, t'étais forcément traçable, mais vraiment, il y a à peine 50 ans, tu pouvais vraiment disparaître. Et là, Battler, c'est ce qu'il a fait, hein. Il s'est juste barré dans une autre famille et il était plus joignable. Je pense que si tu savais pas où est-ce qu'il était parti, du pont de Ligonnès. Non mais... Lui, je pense, c'est un peu un Kinzo, tu vois. En fait, il est mort depuis le début du chapitre 1. Et du coup, le reveal, ça va être qu'il était pas là depuis le début. Du pont de Ligonnès, il a sauté par la fenêtre et c'est comme ça qu'il s'est échappé. Et non, en fait, il n'a jamais existé. Je suis sûr que si je cherche Umineko du pont de Ligonnès, là, maintenant, tout de suite... Umineko du pont de Ligonnès. Cette recherche n'a jamais été faite de l'histoire. Attends. Pourquoi est-ce que sur R Umineko... Attends, je check juste. Ça me ferait beaucoup rire. J'en vois pas. Je ferai le même moi-même, je pense. Je le ferai moi-même. Je suis tombé sur un death battle. Béatrice contre Béatrice. Bref. While wearing a tunic, I was crying. Shannon. From far away, I could hear someone calling to me. It was a very strange sound of distance. Though it felt very far away, the voice also seemed to be coming from right beside me. Shannon, I know you're hurt. It's okay. It's just a fight between a boy and his father. And I'm sure the rumors blow everything out of proportion. Everything just being exaggerated. Indeed. There are none who can say with certainty that Battler will not return to this island. You will do well to remain strong. Très mauvais call de leur part. Where is this place? I seem to remember it somehow. I think it reminds me of the scenery from a strange dream I once had. Then, this must be another dream. I was there under an arbor surrounded by a golden rose garden, and two witches in white and red dresses were showering words of encouragement upon me. You can be sure that those rumor-mongering young servants are embellishing the story however they please. So he has changed his name, they say. Surely this can be nothing more than a family quarrel. Thank you. I wish I could believe that. Of course it's true. He's a boy after all. We can only be surprised that he has had a few arguments with his dad. Precisely as you say. Clearly, they will make it up each other once they cool their heads. When men argue, it's always fiery at first, but they burn out quickly. In contrast, an argument between women burns like a steady flame, but the fuel never goes dry. Men's arguments are fierce but short. Quick and easy. Up alone. You're right. I hope Atlas and Rudolph make up soon. Oh, they will. Haven't you heard Battler mentioning it all the time? He always fights with his father. Ay. This is just another one of those fights. The death of his mother and his father's remarriage have merely upset him. Vraiment pas. It sounds as though he's gone to live with his mother's parents, but after his school leave ahead for a few days, he'll come back. It's like a kid running away from home, see? The two witches kept saying that Battler's fight hadn't been anything huge. If it had been a mere family quarrel, the rumors wouldn't have started in the first place. Taking an optimistic view isn't likely to be useful. Either way, what is the problem between Battler and his father? If you're patient, time will heal old wounds. There's no point in you feeling bad over it. Just because Battler happened to be absent today doesn't mean we can be sure he'll never come back. All this means is that Rudolph came alone today. True. Of course he will be at the next family conference, as energetic as ever. By then, Rudolph will probably be bringing that kitty here too. Battler may be sulky about it, but I am certain that it will come as well. Oh, je pense, en vrai, est-ce que par proxy, Béatrice ne détesterait pas Kyrie? Genre Kyrie serait pas le symbole de la raison de pourquoi Battler n'est plus là? Enfin, en tout cas, c'est... Je pense qu'elle détesterait Kiri et Shannon. Je pense pas qu'elle déteste Ange. Je pense pas qu'elle déteste Ange, mais bon. Elle va élever Ange pour être son battleur, comme son grand-père l'a fait avant elle. Allez, you're right. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. How nice would it be if they were right? De taré. In fact, if I could, I would like to flip through the calendar until autumn. Right now and check to see whether it does come to the next family conference. Rien à voir, mais j'en ai repensé. Titi va peut-être commencer Umineko et ça me met tellement bien. J'espère vraiment qu'il va jouer Umineko. Hein. Il m'a demandé pour chercher les trucs PS3 et tout. Du coup, ça serait gratuit, forcément. Ce serait vraiment cool. S'il le fait en live, je vais tellement être là à tous les lives. Je vais couper mon stream pour aller check ses lives. Bon, peut-être pas, mais... Je le mettrai sur le côté. If he does, then all my fears are groundless. Franchement, ouais, ça me ferait trop plaisir, Matarine. C'est vraiment la moitié du plaisir, je pense, de ce genre de jeu. C'est retourner voir et être en mode « Oh non quand même !» Ça va être vraiment ça tout du long. Et surtout, s'il le fait sur la version PS3, on va avoir droit au nouveau sprite. Donc on verra dans tous les cas une nouvelle expérience. Je sais pas s'il le fera en stream. Faudra que je convainque Kalas de le faire. Je viendrai faire les voix. Quand je vais prendre la même voix pour Shannon et Canon et qu'il va rien comprendre. It will mean the rumor-mongering family members on Sevens have just blown things out of proportion. Foreshadowing au max. Ah, désolé, j'ai un peu du mal avec les voix. Je vais faire la même pour eux, hein, tu m'en voudras pas? If Patterson was right here, I'd want to question him right away. It isn't true that he'll never come to Rokenjima again, right? And then, if he said that, of course he will come again. It would be such a relief. I don't know the phone number for Rudolph-sama's house, but I could probably look it up if I tried. However, as a servant of the family, I have no excuse for making such a call. And anyway, I have no way of knowing the phone number for Battler's grandparents' house. I can't do anything except wait for Rudolph-sama's family to come visit and hope that my fears are groundless. However, will I be able to make it through the day feeling like this? No way. I doubt I'll sleep a week tonight. Just waiting around feeling like this when I don't know when my next chance will come. I can do that. Will it be next month? Or the month after? In the worst case, I might have to wait until the next family conference. And I have to wait that long while holding back this fucking feeling. I can't bear it. Hey Shannon. Sorry to ask this out of the blue, but when you made up your mind to do something by the next year, then that something wasn't just quitting work as a servant on this island, right? That... I made a decision to start a new life. I didn't want to keep on being a servant by force of habit. I made a decision to step into a new life and to leave my old life as a servant behind. And Battler promised that he would come here on the day of your decision, right? Yes. That is not one of my strong points, so I shall speak frankly. You made the decision and resolved yourself to starting a new life with Battler, correct? And your life is Battler, son. You are afraid that Battler will not come for you on the day of your decision. However, there is more to the day of decision than just Battler coming to see you. It's also the day for you to show that you're determined to spend the rest of your life with him. This determination is something you must create for yourself. It won't be a fruit simply because Battler shows up. Shannon, do you know the determination to spend the rest of your life with him? You decided to put it off until the next family conference because you didn't have the determination last time, right? What does it mean to live life as Battler? Have you ever thought of seriously about it in detail? Well, as long as I'm working as a 7th on Rokenshima, my opportunities for meeting him are limited. We're both underage, so it's too early to talk about marriage. However, if I quit working as a 7th, I should have many more opportunities to meet him. Once I quit work here, I'll return to the Fukuin house. I have my wages for saving the family, so I should have more than enough to travel to Battle-san's house to play. When I graduate from school, I can rent an apartment near Battle-san's house. Then, well, I can work while going to school. That life will be a lot more difficult than I first thought. However, I'd be able to see Battle-san much often. If not every day, then every week. I won't be a 7th anymore, so there won't be any difference in class. I can call him whenever I want. I'm already doing both school and work. Thanks to my experience here, I know more than enough to do simple housework. Doesn't that sound like a fun life? You can rent a humble abode. Once you've built up your own home, you can invite Butler over. And then, the time you spend together, the world of the two of you make, will begin. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Yes. It does sound a bit wonderful. This was the first time I had ever imagined that shit too clearly. My love for him, my honest desire to live my life with him. Earlier, I was able to consider both of these deeply. However, now that I'm clearly imagining the future I plan to choose, I finally understand. I must be aware of how much determination will be needed to reach that future. You dream of marriage eventually, don't you? Oh, girl, these days, dating with marriage in mind at such a young age. Well, that's a bit, don't deny your dreams, okay? There's no point in taking your first step if your eyes are closed and you don't look ahead to the future. If a girl's in love with a man, there's nothing wrong with thinking, I wanna marry him. That's a young girl's natural right. Hey. Tu penses trop tôt, ça peut causer des déceptions. Sniff. Bref, retour au jeu. My face had turned bright red. Earlier, I thought that considering marriage really was a bit premature, so I tried as best as I could not to think about it. However, when the witches encouraged me to imagine it, that image was both exciting and vivid. I felt an indescribable feeling of refreshment and awakening, like the gentle breeze that washes over you and when you go outside during a brief spot of sunshine on a rainy day. That's right, I did not actually have the determination to go that far. I need to strengthen my determination by the time of the next family conference comes around. If I can't do that, then sticking around as a 7th on this island is no more than I deserve. And at the same time, this is also a trial. True. A trial to be overcome. A trial? Why is that? Fool. Butler promised that he will come for you at the next family conference, did he not? He said he'd come on the White Horse, right? Yes. You're thinking that Butler will not come anymore. In other words, you have no faith in Butler's promise. That's why this is a trial. To pass through this trial, you'll have to show that you can trust him and wait. But no one can. Putain, ouais. Trial. Bon, tout ça pour dire que Undertale a été inspiré d'Umineko. Bref. I hadn't thought of it that way. Since he promised to come for me in a year, then I need to believe that he will come for me in a year. If I doubt that, I don't have the right to wait for him in the first place. In fact, Butler might have left the Ishimiya family because he has set his sights on the future with you. Why would that be? If he knows that you will live together and eventually exchange marriage vows. If he knows that you will live together and eventually exchange marriage vows, having the name Ushinomiya will cause problems, since Shannon is a 7th of the Ushinomiya family. Oh no! Aïe 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 aïe! I see. You realize that there'll be all kinds of troubles if he decides to marry a 7 girl, so he has abandoned the Ushinomiya name beforehand. What do you think, Shannon? That way everything makes sense. Elle a essayé de faire sens d'un puzzle qui n'en était pas un. Ah oh, le énorme coping, mais bon, je peux comprendre. Battle has abandoned the Ushimi name for your sake. He said an argument with without was an excuse. What splendid reasoning. Nice going, Richie. What do you say, Shannon? There's no reason to feel down. On the contrary, it's as though Battler has shown his determination first. Et du coup, le fait qu'il revienne 6 ans plus tard en reprenant le nom Ushiromiya, il lui crache à la gueule. Là. Yo Wassil, merci. A smile had finally returned to my face. Of course, I hadn't taken the witches seriously and let myself be reassured. It was closer to the opposite. It was almost funny that they could think up such ridiculously convenient explanation for everything. However, they had made all of those ridiculous theories to cheer me up. Et du coup, on a un peu en foreshadowing dans la relation de Eva et Hideyoshi. On parlera du PD 2 sur 5 sur demain. Oui, demain, mais c'est qu'en fait, voilà, j'aurais pas dû... Je savais que ça allait arriver si je faisais hors live, j'étais juste trop tilt de Minecraft. J'ai lancé une run au pif, c'est arrivé, voilà, c'est un petit accident. Mais du coup, demain, on pourra faire une petite prédiction pour miser le temps que j'ai eu. Vous verrez, vous verrez. Il se passe des dingueries. Ouais, non, j'avais trop du mal, Wassil. Toutes mes sorties étaient nulles. Je vais pas dire que j'ai eu une excellente sortie ou pas, vous verrez, hein, mais... Vraiment, j'avais trop du mal. Je me mettais trop de pression. En fait, tu vois, j'étais re-rentré dans la boucle que je commençais à avoir en 70. Donc là, c'est bon, maintenant que j'ai passé ça, ça va le faire, je pense. Bon, après, jouer mal, ça dépend des fois, quand même. J'ai quand même eu des 1.08, genre... Hier ou avant-hier, j'ai eu des 1.08 pace à Euster quand même, donc c'est pas dégueulasse non plus, mais... Mais ouais. C'était dur. Bref. On verra demain. Ouais, bah en fait à Tipeee, j'ai échoué trop de pace à Tipeee, et je me remettais trop la pression dessus. Exactement, ma termine. La réaction sur la VOD, j'ai rallumé mon micro pour les throws. Yes. Donc demain vers 17h, je pense, comme ça, ça finira avant 19, les gens pourront aller manger. Je calcule. Surtout que je suis pas dispo avant 16h30, donc dans tous les cas, il y a pas le choix. Il y a juste pas le choix, en fait. Mon stream aurait été delay dans tous les cas, donc... Toi, en Minecraft en plein milieu, tu le fais à quelle heure? « 8h30 » Ah oui, ah, ça va vraiment être sur la fin de ma run. Bon bah, FF. Bon après, ça va. Comme j'ai 1h32, tu vas pouvoir la voir à la fin normalement. J'ai taille le community best en fait. C'est vrai que Frizen il va vraiment faire un sub 20. Hein. On verra. Je pense pas démarrer direct à 17h, on verra. De toute façon, je vais probablement parler un petit peu avant. C'est juste, en fait, comme je l'ai fait hors live, je l'avais dit, je l'ai fait hors live, j'aurais pu mettre la run et faire semblant de la jouer en live, mais je trouve que c'est un peu être une fraude. Mais je voulais quand même partager un peu la run avec vous et avoir la réaction. Parce que faire un PB hors live, c'est pas un peu nul, mais un peu quand même. Je sais pas. Pour 1er avril, ça aurait été drôle. Oui, ça aurait pu être très drôle. Malheureusement, bon, je l'ai pas eu avant 1er avril. Et ouais. Barrière enfin franchie, c'est le principal. Il y aura d'autres PV plus tard. Ah là là. Bref, allez, retournons à Shannon. However, Dad made all of this ridiculous theory to shimmy up. The witches are right when they say that I must trust Batlason. That there's no point moping about just because I've heard a few rumors. Until the next family conference, I intend to strengthen my resolve. And I believe that he will accept my feelings and come for me. The idea that Butler left the family so that he could be married to me someday was laughable, of course. But right now I should try to feel confident enough to accept even crazy ideas like this. Thanks so much. I feel a little better now. That as well. I cannot stand watching you cry yourself to sleep. Thanks for coming to my dreams to encourage me. Indeed. It will be morning soon. This is all a dream. You won't remember any of it when you wake. However, your heart will be at peace. Yes, I'll believe in him and wait. So I won't listen to every little rumor. Very good. Wait until the next family conference while improving yourself. You'll think of it as training to become a wife. All of your everyday chores will grow more meaningful. Wow. Thanks a lot. Did she? It will be morning soon. Merde. Is that so? Then so long, Shannon. You may not remember me. I will always be by your side, watching over you. La vision des années 80, oui, ça va. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Et Butler n'est jamais revenu. Terrible, hein? The next family conference will be here in a flash. Wait for it at your leisure. Butler will certainly keep his promise. Il a tout oublié, il a oublié qui c'était, il a oublié sa promesse, il a... Un an plus tard. 1981. 5 ans avant l'accident. Pleased to meet you. My name is Kyrie. I hope we can become friends quickly. I've known your name longer than I've known Asuma-san. I heard you're Rudolph's old girlfriend. Yes, we've known each other for quite a long time. Welcome to the Yoshimiya family. I hope you find it easy to grow comfortable here. Yes, I'd like to grow comfortable quickly, so that I can support my husband. But look at how cute that little girl is. What's her name? Mrs. Ange-san. What a cute name. So you two couldn't make up after all. Said it would be the perfect chance to bring him back, but he's as stubborn as Dad. Will Butler could never come back. I'll miss him. Nothing wrong with a man having enough backbone to find his own way in the world. I'm sure I've made it big by the time he comes back. You think so? Right now, Butler's home isn't home for him. The place he comes home to is somewhere else now. Enough. It concerns Rudolph's family only. It is not our place to meddle. Thank you, Krasnaya-san. It is an issue for our family alone. However, I intend to do all I can to see that Butler-kun and Rudolph-san can live together again someday. After all, he's Ange's one and only big brother. Yep. When that kid gets stuck on something, anything you say to him will have the opposite effect. Asu's father has a bit of a short temper. Looks like he's been adding fuel to the fire. It'll be okay. I shall understand your feelings before too long. I can't do anything except cheer you on. Even if he doesn't come back, we're all praying that the two of you will make up quickly. It's a bit boring without Butler. Yeah. We hope Ian Rook and Rudolph can make up soon. Thinking about how Butler's summer feels. It must have hurt. His family has basically got swept all around. The world doesn't feel comfortable at home anymore. All men need to go out on their own one day or another. It might just be that Butler-kun's time has come. You think so? I do. It's not cool for a guy to hang around at his parents for too long. Dans cette économie, You've got to leave the nest in a flurry and make your name in the world. I plan to do that eventually, but it looks like he's gone and done it first. And when he makes his word his name in the world and becomes a great man. Will he come back? Maybe that he never comes back. After all, this might be leaving the nest soon. Leaving the nest. Aïe 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 aïe. But I didn't come, baby. Oh, how terrible. And I kept telling Shannon that he was sure to come. I'm sure she's very upset about his Battler's absence. And it's all because I got her hopes up. She's been looking forward to this day. It pains me to think how much she must feel. Thanks, you too. I'm okay. I've been reunited with the witches once again in the dream world. Though I could never remember anything during the day, now that I was in the dream world, I somehow knew that this was a reunion. The witches both looked apologetic. Though they had tried to cheer me up by saying that Battler would come today, now that they hadn't come, it was like they had been lying and they seemed to regret it really. Shannon, well, thank you for your concern. I would be lying if I said I wasn't sad, but I'll be okay. Are you sure? Really sure? That would be splendid, but... Clearly, Battler's fight was so over the top that he couldn't bring himself to back down so soon. Man was so stubborn. Yes, that is true. He tried to act tough before running away, so his stubbornness is preventing him from taking back what he said so easily. He'll probably regret not coming today. Yes, that must be it. For some reason, they seemed nearly desperate in their attempt to encourage me. What was most funny to watch? I couldn't help but giggle. Thanks a lot, both of you. After all, you're the ones who told me in the first place that this is a test, a trial to be overcome. Eh oui. C'est le test qu'on a dans le chapitre 6. The truth was, I couldn't really fool myself so easily. When will he come back? When will he come for me? When isn't the question. Will he come for me ever? If I start mopping right now, the uncertainty and sadness will probably tear me apart. But they have taught me. This is a trial to see whether I really believe in him or not. The very fact that I feel uncertain and anxious is a betrayal of my resolve, and of his promise to come from me someday. Someone said something about it. That this might be the same as leaving the nest for Bata-san. That's right. It's his chance to leave behind the Yushimiya name and spread his wings as his own man. If you really think about it, we're still very young. Even if we want to be tied together, we're still lacking many years of social experience and trust. If Bata-san is really and truly taking this seriously, then it's too soon for him to come from me now. Well done. Yes, that's the right attitude. I've done well to reach this understanding. I haven't reached anything, but I've decided to think of it that way for now. To see whether I trust Bata-san or not. Elle a vraiment 12 ans, hein. Enfin, 13, 14 du coup. Elle a 14. On sait qu'elle a 14. Puisqu'elle a 16 en 86, mais elle en a pas 16 et elle en a 19. Donc là, elle a 14. Puisqu'on est en 81. Ça me semble pas déconnant comme mentalité à 14. Ça reste jeune, ouais. Mais bon. Ça pour dire que Georges, lui, en a 18. 14-18. Bref. If he had come today, I would have had to tell Madame that I wanted to quit my job as a servant. However, was I really prepared to do that? Ça reste chelou ou c'est moins pire? Bah 14-18... C'est mieux que 11-18. Oui, je l'accorde. C'est mieux que 10-17. Mais bon, c'est pas un 22-26, tu vois. 22-26, c'est normal. 14-18, eh oui, mais je veux dire... C'est chelou. La règle du divisé par 2 plus 7 stipule que quand tu as 18 ans, tu ne peux date que des gens qui ont, du coup, divisé par 2, 9 plus 7, 16. 16 minimum. Voilà. C'est la règle. C'est pas moi qui fais la règle, c'est la règle. Moi, par exemple, à 30, 30 divisé par 2, 15 plus 7, 22. Si je date quelqu'un en dessous de 22, ce serait très très bizarre, Imo. C'est la règle. Je trouve que c'est une bonne manière de juger un peu. Même 22, ce serait jeune. Bref. However, was I really prepared to do that? Tu es dans les âges, allez ma termine. Last night, I kept worrying about whether Battle-san would come or not. Thanks to that, not only did I not have the resolve to keep my job, I don't even started on the paperwork to do so. In short, I still don't have the determination that I promised him that day. C'est vraiment Undertale, hein. I'm sure that God knew that. Battle will come for me when I found my determination. I was not determined, so it's only natural that he didn't come today. Yeah, it all makes sense now. So, I'm sure Battle-san didn't come today because I wasn't determined enough. J'ai jamais vu autant de level de copium chez une personne. It's only natural since I couldn't even truly believe that he would come. I'm sure Butler was the same way. He didn't yet have determination and resolve to come for you. God is not heartless. When your feelings really do draw close, I'm sure they'll bring the two of you together. Just like Orihime and Kobashi. Yeah, it's as though the weather just happened to be bad during this Tanabata, keeping those lovers apart for another year. That's how I'd like to think about what happened today. That's how I would like to think about it. I have no other choice. Battle-san. 2 ans plus tard. Ah non. But Batlun didn't come back for 6 years. Still a long way to go until then. So you had to wait 6 more years feeling like that? And one waits every year for something to happen the next. And then the same thing the next year and the next. It becomes the same as waiting for an eternity. Pretty pathetic, don't you think? After all, as far as you thought you met with Battler seems to be something you knew nothing about, right? Battler-kun does tend to use melodramatic phrases just like Uncle Rodolphe. It's one about where putting things might have led to a misunderstanding. Oh, le Don Juan de merde! Some girl's gonna stab Battler in the back someday. Well, I guess that's more or less what this tale is. When words can mean different things, they can turn a person's life upside down. There are times when careless talk costs lives. Et si c'est début chapitre 7, je pense que je vais arrêter là. Ouais, je vais m'arrêter ici. Et du coup, prochaine session, ce sera probablement un soir, et je pense qu'on finira le livre. Puisque là, les vacances arrivent, donc je vais juste... Il y a juste des soirs où je vais le faire, je pense. Mais un peu au pif, genre ce sera pas prévu. Après un stream, quand je me sentirai motivé, je te dirai. C'est vraiment tragique ce qui se passe, hein. Shannon, elle a pas eu de chance, hein. La pauvre. Bref. Allez, bye bye, je vais aller m'acheter un miam. À demain pour le shout-out. Et là, je le dis pour de vrai. MDR. Salut.